So, folks, we got to talk a little bit about Donald Trump. Specifically, Donald Trump is weak as hell, and we've all got to stop living in existential fear for the future of the country. That isn't to say that we need to stop working hard. That isn't to say that we need to stop being vigilant. That isn't to say we need to stop putting everything into our activism against him and our mobilizing against him and our organizing against him. But we need to let go of this idea that Donald Trump is capable of canceling the election. He's just not. Like, logistically, he does not have the ability. I know that headlines, especially like this that came out the other day, Trump goes public with plan to take over elections. 700 boxes of ballots in Georgia. President calls on Republicans to assert control over voting in at least 15 places. Obviously, this is very scary. This is like, it is not a small threat here that is being made. However, what I'm going to point out to you guys is that Donald Trump is very much constrained in what he can do for state elections because states control those elections. And also, each state is separate. Like, it's not all states coming together to control all of their it's each state separately controls its election. And there are certain avenues where Donald Trump has been granted a great deal of power, where Congress has abdicated their responsibility to check him and hold him in line. But in this case, there is no mechanism between Donald Trump and state elections. There is not, I'm sorry, but he can seize all the voting machines he wants, I guess. But we're still going to hold elections. We'll write things on slips of paper if we have to. Like, it's not an insurmountable issue. And so Donald Trump knows that he's cooked. He knows that, what has happened so far has basically made it impossible for him to win in the midterms and win in the upcoming general election, or whoever he ordains to win in the upcoming general election. This is going to be effectively his last gasp. Okay? Yeah, ICE, there are not enough ICE agents to stake out all polling places. There are not enough in the places that they would need to control. They have, done the disservice to these areas of the country where they've whittled down polling places to one polling place for, tens of thousands of people. So if you wanted to control that polling place, you would have to deploy a truly massive number of people. And you would have to have a very commanding grasp of the logistical issues in trying to control that many different locations across the entirety of the United States. There are it's not just a lack of a mechanism issue. It is also logistically, what you are trying to pull off is a colossal military campaign, logistical campaign, however you want to frame it, that he just can't do. He's incapable of it. He can't even remember the guy he endorsed the day before he got asked about it on camera. You think that he is capable of masterminding this? You think that you think that Stephen Miller is capable of masterminding this? Stephen Miller can't even have the self-restraint to hide his virulent racism when it's inconvenient to him. It's why everyone who knows him finds him deeply, deeply off-putting because of his overt racism. He cannot control himself. He certainly cannot control one polling location, let alone, several thousand spread across, millions of miles. You just can't do that. Not millions of miles, tens of thousands of miles. Where does that leave us? Well, it leaves us with a situation where they're going to try some shit. They're going to try to make things unfair as hell. They're going to try to be silly little billies about this, but the issue is you show up anyway on election day. They're going to try and intimidate you out of doing it. And you've got to say, I'm showing up anyway. Like, that's really what it comes down to. You need to make the choice as an individual, as a community, etc., to show up even when the going gets tough. You know, take strength in what people in this country have had to overcome to vote in the past. People in the past had to overcome, like, KKK members staking out their polling places. And you know what? People still showed up to vote. And one of the important lessons we can learn about from that is that, hey, when you show up with enough of your friends, we keep each other safe. We keep each other safe. Not them, we do. So go in numbers. Be ungovernable when it comes to making sure your vote is counted. And so I know the headlines are really terrifying, but I also want to highlight another thing, which is that unlike in the lead up to January 6th, when anyone who is concerned about potential like security violations or potential incidents was laughed off as laughingstocks and like paranoid and, oh, of course he's going to leave. They were literally writing op-eds that said Donald Trump will leave office gracefully. Just you watch. And I just want to say, we've arrived at a point where basically everyone in mainstream media, you know, maybe outside of CBS these days, banging this bell, this alarm bell, to point out, hey, he's saying he's going to try and rig the election. We need to believe him and act accordingly. We need to take action to make sure he doesn't succeed. That's helpful because it effectively moves where the general awareness of the entire country is and gets folks used to the idea that Donald Trump is going to try some shit. You don't let him get away with it. Like, it really comes down as that simple. But one thing you should take heart in is the fact that you've got folks in the New York Times like David French writing, "This is not a drill." And I say this not because the content of this is actually all that fired. It's no observation you haven't made yourselves by just looking at the news these days. But it is notable because David French is writing it. And David French, he tried some shit last time. Exactly. But part of the reason he was able to get so far last time is that no one believed he was going to try shit. And we now are aware he's going to try shit, and we're going to act accordingly. Right? David French, by the way, has his own Wikipedia page, of course. And wouldn't you know it, oh wow, formerly a senior editor at the Dispatch, a fellow at the National Review Institute, and staff writer for National Review, also known as one of the most far-right mainstream publications out there. When you've got guys at the National Review writing about how Donald Trump is a threat to democracy, how Donald Trump is making concerning moves that mimic what happened in the lead up to January 6th, that's good. It means that the critical, penetration of the idea that Donald Trump is a crook liar who is going to try and rob us of our democracy has hit mainstream, has hit critical mass, right? And if David French is writing these things, we are getting to the point where, like, every man, woman, and child in this country who is not, like, high on the Kool-Aid that Donald Trump has given them in his compound, every man, woman, and child understands what he is and what he's trying to do. We are much more advanced in the information sphere than we were last time. Hi, Jack. I'm from the land down under, and not for me to judge what's occurring in the U.S. The world watches and are astounded what's occurring in your wonderful country. You know, as somebody who's in this country, I also watch and I am astounded on a daily basis, but I'm not going to take it laying down, and that's why I get on here every day to tell you guys what's happening, try to get you guys to do whatever you can, however you can, to halt our descent into fascism. Folks outside the U.S., we're doing our best in here to make sure this country doesn't fall to the worst political ideologies. Now, I also just want to point out that what Donald Trump's main attack right now is doing is creating a world where Republicans exist as essentially mentally broken and deranged individuals. There's not really any other way of saying this. Like, if someone you know is on the MAGA train still, like, their brain is fundamentally broken somehow, or they're not paying attention. It is one or the other. And I present as my evidence this video, which was put together by Ben Palmer. For those of you who don't know who Ben Palmer is, he has an ongoing YouTube series where he set up a fake ICE reporting hotline. And conservatives call it to report people they think are undocumented. While at first blush, this is going to seem like something that will shatter your faith in humanity, I do want to preface that these people are uniquely disgusting and off-putting. Like, no decent person, no person of any kind of moral fiber could possibly say these things and be like, be like, oh yes, that's someone I want to befriend. What a good person. Let's take a look at Ben Palmer's recent call that he got to report someone.
I have my own hotline for reporting illegal immigrants, and people call it thinking that it's legitimate. I talked to a kindergarten teacher that wants to deport the parents of a kindergartner at her school. And it looks like they have a child who was born in New York, which makes them an American citizen.
Yeah.
So we're looking to deport the parents and leave the child.
Right. Like I said, I don't know if they're here illegally. I just think it's odd, you know? It's just very odd.
What did you say was odd?
It's just odd for them to even be here. Like, I'm a teacher at a school. Okay, I know schools. I know the whole law about schools. I mean, they seem like nice people or whatever, but I looked them up in our files, and I was like, oh, she was born in Honduras, and he's born in El Salvador. So right there, it's like, okay, maybe I'm on the right path. You know, they drop off their kid every day.
So their kid is their kid a student at your school?
Yes. Yes,
one of your
kindergarten.
Okay, so now you want to get his parents deported?
Well, I'm just saying that if they're taking up resources from our county, okay. I'm not into illegal people being here.
I mean, if the son's in kindergarten, what, is 6 or 7, right?
Yeah, he's probably like 5 or 6.
And he was born in New York, so that means, assumingly they've been in America for 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
And now we're going to go ahead and just remove them.
Are you like questioning that, or what do you know?
Yeah. Sorry, no, I'm just writing this down for my own personal notes and my.
Like, she can't even wrap her head around the idea that she's as repulsive as her own words said back to her sound to her. Wow, you're mocking me with that with the things you're saying back to me, and it's like you're literally saying the most reprehensible racist trash. I want to put out there that this is not popular. Giving people like this the keys to the Republican Party is not something that people like. But that is what the Trump administration is effectively trying to do. And like, it's insane. It's insane. She's just like, oh yeah, no. Non-white people in my school must be undocumented illegals. And just wait.
Supervisor teaches at school, wants kindergarten child's parents deported.
You make it sound terrible. You make it sound like it's terrible, but...
Oh, well, I'm just writing down what you're telling me.
Okay. Well, yeah, okay.
Sounds terrible. Let's see, I can write that down too, I guess. And that's Hispanic in an area where you wouldn't normally see Hispanics. Okay.
Right. like people that are born in another country.
Yeah, because you normally see those people where?
Like in the cities.
Got it. Okay. Hispanics out of place, now in country, not where they belong in city. So we were able to confirm that they are documented citizens along with their child.
Oh, good.
So yeah, it's good because we don't have to deport a 6-year-old. And yeah, I mean, you know, that little fella could have been a threat to our national security.
Why are you talking to me like this?
Say again?
Why do you talk to me like this?
I'm sorry, what are you referring to?
Like you're like sarcastic.
Oh, okay. I mean, I just thought that maybe you'd be okay and just happy that the people that you reported were actually here legally and that they belong. Just like you and me.
Did I talk to your supervisor? You said you had...
She literally has her own words repeated back to her and is like, I don't care for your tone, mister. I'm gonna talk to your manager. It's genuinely deranged. It is deranged. And like, this is the only kind of person that Donald Trump's policies really appeal to. And I gotta be honest with you guys, I don't think the majority of people in this country are this level of cooked. This is like, frankly, like irredeemably vile. Like you work as a teacher at a kindergarten and you see 2 non-white parents pull up to drop off their 6-year-old child. And your thought is, I need to get them deported because they're not white, so clearly they couldn't be from here. Like, I'm sorry. Like, there is I don't even have words. You know, there are no words or combinations of syllables in the tongue of man capable of describing the wretched situation that must be this person's day-to-day lived experience being stuck with themselves. It is crazy.
The supervisor.
Yeah, I just thought you were going to be happy.
Yeah, I am happy, but I'm not happy with your attitude. You just said to me, this 6-year-old won't be a threat to national security.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you reported. That's ostensibly why you would report a 6-year-old's parents, right? Like, you think it is such an egregious crime, such a threat to real Americans that they are here, that you are reporting them and breaking apart their family. Like, your idea here is that they are a threat to you in some way. That's why you are trying to get them deported and destroy this family and their lives.
That's sarcastic.
I would think that the people that were deporting, especially 6-year-olds, that there would be a good reason for it.
I was talking about the people who I thought they're illegal because they were born in a different country. I can't help that they have a 6-year-old. That's on them. You
know what we'll do? I'll get in touch with the supervisor. I send him a text. When he gets back to me, I'll see if he can follow up with you and this.
And what is his name?
His name is Brian. But yeah, thought you'd be happy to know that they're documented, but we'll have the follow-up.
I am happy. I'm super happy.
I'm the happiest I've ever been to learn that these non-whites who bring their son to my school every day are, in fact, U.S. citizens. I'm so happy about it.
Happy. I'm glad. You know, that's wonderful.
Well, it's good. You know, the 6-year-old can stay in the school, and you know, I know it's tough looking at him, and but yeah, we'll get on my supervisor. Just he can give you a call back in a little bit. My understudy here said you were having some issues with him about some out of place Hispanics.
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
When you say it like that, it sounds like I'm evil and racist.
You sound exactly like Greg. Okay. I just didn't like his attitude.
I really do apologize for that. Looks like Brian said we did confirm the document status of these individuals, and we're happy we were able to do that for you despite the sarcasm and the things that you're complaining about.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad that they're fine. folks and belong here and all that good stuff. But he was like criticizing me because there was a 6.
Can I also just point out that like, no, it's fine. It's fine. It just seems to me that like if all it takes to make a conservative who's so virulently racist that they're calling into a tip line to try and get student and their parents deported and like shatter their entire lives for no reason other than the fact that they're a hateful piece of shit. It seems to me that if you can solve this just by telling them whatever, because like there's no way, I don't think as like a private US citizen, this YouTube comedian can just look up whether or not they're actually documented or undocumented. He's just saying they're documented, right? But if you can just do that and like conservatives are suddenly like, okay, I guess they must be documented, then like clearly the solution is just documenting all of the undocumented people. Like clearly that's the solution here. We don't actually need the concentration camps. We don't actually need the deportation engine. We don't actually need any of this in order for like these, you know, these conservatives to feel safe. You just document them and tell them, no, they do deserve to be here, actually. And they will respond to those words from a perceived authority figure, and suddenly it will be a non-issue for them. You know, they're still going to be racist, but suddenly that racism isn't going to be validated by the state, accompanied by, like, state power and punishment.
A boy involved. You know what I mean? But he's like acting like I'm this terrible person because I'm going to deport a 6-year-old. And in fact, he goes today. He goes, you know, because a 6-year-old would be a threat to national security.
I played this because I wanted to really hammer home to you guys that this is deeply unpopular. The revulsion you are all feeling right now for that woman is at heart what the Trump administration is offering to everyone in this country. It's the main value proposition of what they are doing. And like the vast, overwhelming majority of us hate this. Hate it. And so I just want to keep on saying Donald Trump is extraordinarily weak. This is the main thing he's offering right now. This is the main thing he's offering. And you know, we can clearly see, by the way, the unhinged behavior in the White House and throughout the federal government is coming to a head. It is reaching levels that are unsustainable, clearly. But like we're seeing some shifting happen here. So the Justice Department has demoted Ed Martin, who's like one of Donald Trump's staunchest supporters in the DOJ. They've stripped him of his authority. Ed Martin, by the way, was like running like special investigations into like Letitia James and trying to like get convictions against Donald Trump's enemies. But it resulted in him like showing up outside of her house and like in like a trench coat and like a trilby, like doing like a Private Eye type LARPing cosplay. It is very weird. But Ed Martin has been one of the weaker people that Donald Trump has brought in with him, right? He couldn't get confirmed to any of like the positions that they wanted him to be in charge of because even Republicans in Congress were like, whoa, no, we don't want Ed Martin. No, that guy's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. He's still close to Donald Trump. I will also say Ed Martin has particularly an interesting job. So you know that how I mentioned he was like overseeing Letitia James, the indictments against Letitia James and James Comey, etc. Well, this is part of an ongoing project for Donald Trump's weaponization team, which is literally called the Weaponization Working Group, and it exists within the Trump DOJ, and it exists specifically to target Donald Trump's political enemies. Like, this is what he's focused on right now. He's focused on punishing anyone who has ever stood up against him or said anything that he doesn't like. And he is also focused on being as racist and spreading as much misery as possible. DOJ staffers will meet under the banner of the Weaponization Working Group, an entity that Attorney General Pam Bondi invented mere days after she invented office. The group was designed to challenge former special counsel Jack Smith and his staff, as well as Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg and New York Attorney General Letitia James. The initiative would also target any officials who attempted to hold Trump accountable in the wake of January 6, 2021. So, like, it's literally just a personal revenge outfit within the DOJ, a part of the government, by the way, that is ostensibly supposed to be separate from the President of the United States. You've also got so many different stories now circulating about how Donald Trump accepted a $137 million bribe from a Saudi prince in order to give them, like, top secret AI chips. Like, we've got levels of corruption here that are frankly staggering. Frankly staggering. I want people to know that all it takes to cause Donald Trump and this administration to fold is simply to say no. Like, Donald Trump could not coerce the people of Minnesota into bending the knee for him. Donald Trump couldn't get, like, folks to accept ICE on Minneapolis's streets. And, like, Minnesota and, like, Minneapolis, the Twin Cities area, it's not big, guys. There are around 4 million people in the Twin Cities area, but, like, you just say no. You just say no and you don't give him what he wants, and he'll lumber away. And just today, here's a great example. Trump is said to have dropped demand for cash from Harvard because up till now, Donald Trump has been demanding $200 million from Harvard. And he's been shaking down other universities for changes to their policies, changes to their staff, cuts to their departments, and also, like, cash payments to the government. And, like, all you gotta do is say no. If you say no, you'll win, because these people do not know how to handle no. They do not know how to handle it. And, like, okay, what else does Donald Trump have to offer? What else is he doing right now that's really great? Oh, he's trying to sue a comedian for telling a joke about Donald Trump appearing in the Epstein files. The Epstein files? Aren't those the things that Donald Trump is actively covering up? It's almost like everything he's doing is either odious to an extreme previously unimaginable, or directly counter to the stated values of the Republican Party, or also hammering home that he still has yet to release all of the Epstein files and is clearly covering something up. It's interesting, to say the least. And I'll just I'll just say what Trevor Noah said here. This is a Grammy that every artist wants almost as much as Trump wants Greenland, which makes sense. I mean, because Epstein's Island is gone. He needs a new one to hang out on with Bill Clinton, which really made Donald Trump mad. And, you know, that's interesting. If Donald Trump had never been to Epstein's Island, why would he be getting mad at a joke about spending time on Epstein's Island with Bill Clinton? That's really interesting. Why would Donald Trump get so mad that he's threatening to sue Trevor Noah for defamation? I mean, it's obviously a joke. Trevor Noah has the right to joke. And if it's not true, then, like, the joke was clearly just a joke. Unless it's true. What an interesting possibility that is. The pedo doth protest too much, methinks. Indeed. Sean L. Cairns, indeed. So, all of this put together, by the way, we're not done. We're not done. I forgot about this clip. You know how in Trump's America, all Republican values are upheld to the fullest extent of the law and the Constitution? Let's check in with Judge Jeanine Pirro, the U.S. attorney for D.C. How are things going over there, Jeanine?
And you bring a gun into the district, you mark my words, you're going to jail. I don't care if you have a license in another district, and I don't care if you're a law-abiding gun owner somewhere else. You bring a gun into this district, count on going to jail, and hope you get the gun back. And that makes all the difference.
Yeah, it's amazing how accountability works, you know, when people think that if they actually get arrested, they might have to do time and they might be taken off the street. It sort of puts a little different message into people's heads.
I guess Republicans don't stand for the Second Amendment anymore. Yeah, weird that. Trump take gun. Trump take gun now. If you have a gun in Trump territory, the feds will just kill you, I guess. It's almost like literally every single thing that Trump does runs counter to everything Republicans have professed to believe in for like the last couple decades. It's almost like this is an extraordinarily odious and hate-filled political movement that appeals to almost no one outside of extraordinary racists, which I'm willing to bet does not represent the vast majority of people in this country. I mean, guys, and I do want to point this out too. Donald Trump has lost the Bundy boys. When we're looking at the Bundys, they have a history of standoffs with the federal government, right? So, interestingly enough, The Atlantic did an interview with Ammon Bundy. One of... I can see some of you don't know who that is. Cliven Bundy got into a standoff with ATF agents at his ranch like 15 years ago, I want to say. And then like a decade ago, Ammon Bundy also got into a standoff with the ATF and holed up for months inside of, I think, like a national park center. Not entirely. Again, the details are fuzzy. It's not super important. The important part is that these people became like flashpoints for like the folks around the country who called themselves libertarians, right? And so during these standoffs, people from all across the country came to help man the defense of the Bundys. Well, Ammon Bundy is having a little bit of a come to Jesus moment here, because it turns out all of his libertarian buddies, all of those good, upstanding Christian men who answered his call for help way back in the day when they were in a standoff with the federal government, it's almost like they might not have really been genuine in their stated libertarian positions. Let's just read this excerpt here. On the whole, Bundy's former allies seem to remain solidly in favor of the masked, armed federal agents. Just the other day, Bundy told me he had a contentious conversation with a militant who had joined him at Malheur. Bundy had always thought that he and his supporters stood for a coherent set of Christian libertarian principles that had united them against federal power. We agreed that there's certain rights that a person has that they're born with. Everybody has them equally, not just in the United States, he said. But on this topic, they are willing to completely abandon that principle. Bundy finds this ideological betrayal totally baffling. He would start to say something, I can't understand how they think, or they just can't. They can't, only to abandon the thought mid-sentence. It doesn't make sense to me, he said finally. It's scary, actually. So, yeah. That's where we're at. Like, Donald Trump and his remaining base have become so utterly toxic that even people who have had armed standoffs with the ATF are now suddenly going, hey, wait a minute, guys. It's almost like you have no principles at all. You mean you just wanted to point your guns and test out your militia equipment? Wait a minute, you guys were just practicing for a fascist takeover? And let's not forget the dark pall over everything else, which is that Donald Trump and the Trump administration are guilty of a level of mass killing that is, frankly, it makes the Holocaust look small. There's no other way to really say it. We're looking at Donald Trump presiding over an administration that is going to facilitate the deaths of around 23 million people. And this has been done by the year 2030. And this has been done largely because Donald Trump and Elon Musk are friends. These are not the actions of a popular president. These are not the actions of a well-liked president. These are the actions of someone who is deeply sick, of somebody who has proven themselves over and over and over again to be unfit for the office of the presidency. These are, frankly, the actions of someone who, should we prevail and should Democrats come to power again in this country, we need to ratify our international treaties and we need to ship off Donald Trump to The Hague. And if that means we need to ship off other previous presidents to The Hague to stand trial and answer for their crimes, then so be it. We need to start making amends because, again, nearly 23 million extra deaths worldwide by 2030 as aid cuts bite, study says. This is according to The Lancet, right? The Lancet is one of the most respected medical publications in the United States. Just with the closure of USAID alone, that is going to account for 14 million deaths. And understand that what Donald Trump is doing by cutting USAID and cutting other programs that the United States runs that helps people in other countries is that it creates a permission structure for other folks that are influenced by the United States' policy to do the same. So you have the UK following the US's lead and cutting their aid programs too. This is how you get such astronomically high numbers. Astronomically high numbers. And 5.4 million of those people are children. So I want people to understand this is insane. It is horrific. It is unconscionable. And we have every duty imaginable to beat these bastards and win. They are not as strong as they want us to think. They are, in fact, pathetically weak, who can be, this is an administration that can be completely derailed by a comedian telling a joke. We must prevail. So, folks, get involved today with your local Democrats. Get involved today with your local DSA. Get involved today with some organization on the ground that is organizing, because we keep us safe from ICE. But also, we need to organize so that we can beat these bastards and take back control of our country and start the long process of setting things to right. It is extraordinarily important. It is extraordinarily important, and we need to do it. Okay? So if you need help doing either of those things, join our Discord, reach out to Gamergy for help with the DSA, reach out to Dragonfly for help with your local Dems. We are getting into the very beginning of essentially the midterm election season. So now is the perfect time to get involved. Okay? We need everyone to grab a bucket and start bailing. All right? We got to make it to port without sinking. So, folks, let me know what you think in the comments. Am I wrong about Donald Trump? Am I right? Let me know. And please hit the like button, subscribe, and check out ImagenaOlivia.com, gender euphoric lingerie designed from the ground up for trans femmes, tested on cis men, cis women, non-binary folks. It is non-tucking lingerie. It is beautiful. It is comfortable. Check it out. Link down in the doobly-doo. Let's keep on going, folks.
Riverboat Jack is coming to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube and swishy streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, dating, plenty more. Your sense of fashion you'll adore. So grab your stuff and hop aboard. We're going straight to Jack's Discord. Riverboat Jack.